Well, apparently it says we're fucking live, motherfuckers. This is Grampy Lobster. It's been a few days. Last time you talked to me or you saw me, well, our hearts were pretty low. We were not knowing exactly what was going to be happening. Uh, but well, we've got a lot of people. We got a lot of uh, uh, people that were nice enough to actually send me links of different ways to share, this whatever it is, what fuck we do here at Lobster Studios and Hot Wiener Emporium. But still, it's working. It's the free version of StreamYard. So we've got that fucking duck, up in the fucking corner, which is okay. I don't give a shit. Uh, I guess there's levels you can pay to get different things, but we're pretty. And there's even a thing here where you can. There's a share screen. I didn't even see that before, but where other people can come in. I guess you'd have to have a StreamYard account, but it's like it takes like a minute, But I don't know how to use that yet. But you know, uh, we were so happy that we found Streamlabs, and thank you to everybody who sent in suggestions and links to different sites that we might be able to use. Yeah, hey Adam, how you doing? And so we're gonna try this out for a while. It's not like I can do these every day. There's some kind of limited. I don't know if it shuts me off at a certain time if I don't pay for this shit or whatever. But anyway, so we like I said, we had Carl, on hospice. He was pretty heartbroken. We were kind of fearing for his personal safety for a while. We were really worried about him. We thought he might have hit rock bottom, but as it turned out that as the meme says, he hasn't hit rock bottom unless he sucked dick for catnip. And Carl still hasn't sucked dick for catnip, so apparently Carl didn't hit rock bottom, and that's always good, you know. Uh, yeah, whoever made the logo for StreamYards is I don't know, sucks. I mean, it's a fucking logo. I mean, uh, it almost looks like they got it off of fucking one of those public access or pictures, that you can just use without getting in trouble. Stock stock memes, stock gifs, stock pictures, cartoon pictures or whatever, But that's not what we're here to talk about. So coming up from the elevator, Carl's back, and he's happy as fuck again. Our paw socks still suck. And yeah, rock bottom is subjective. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about that, Adam. Rock bottom can be very subjective, and it is subjective, but I hate to get into those subjective or objective, situations. And, I mean, just that's, but yeah, anyway, Carl's back, and he's just fucking happy as fuck to be here. I mean, you can't stop jerking off. Stop! God damn it. Fuck. Carl gets really excited. He starts jerking off. Anyway, what? 3 people watching or 2 people watching? That's really fucking nice. And I appreciate it because this is how I entertain myself, And anyway, we got some news. We got some things going on. Gonna take care of a couple of things, and I actually have something very, very serious. You might have noticed by the, I don't know if you saw the, what do they call it? The thumbnail for the video for this. I'm going to talk about some stuff that's happened recently that it's kind of sensitive. It's emotional. It's about life, you know. But anyway, uh, yeah, rock bottom is subjective. I mean, and one rock bottom is one someone else's dream. I've hit rock bottom so many times. I mean, on so many so many different ways. Well, not a lot of time. I mean, a few times, you know. But anyway, you know, it's come to my attention that there's some funny business going on. Funny business that we can't stand for anymore. It's common knowledge that, well, the United States of America has pretty much invented everything that's worthwhile in the world. Seriously, look at literally everything, and it started in America. Some countries have different cultures or whatever you want to call it, but everything that's ever been successful in the world has been created here right in America. And I think everybody knows that. And some countries are a little bit jealous. And by jealous, I mean they send covert spies and saboteurs into our country to steal information, products, and goods and services. And it's just got to stop, right? And I've met one of these people recently, and we've been going back and forth, And one thing I found, right, and the country I'm talking about, of course, is Canada. Um, those, they sound polite, they always say thank you, but well, they've never really given us anything, and I get tired of those Canadians or those Canadians or toque wearing guys, hockey players. They didn't even invent hockey. Hockey was actually invented in America, in this country right here, you know. And but I think one of the greatest thievery, uh, just downright, uh, and few people actually know this, right? But this was where they really, really just, when I found this out, I mean, I was just, I was ready to go to war. I was ready to do anything to make them pay. And a little known secret in this country, maple trees were actually invented in this country, in the United States of America. And years ago, Canada, because they literally have nothing but ice and snow, right? They decided, they needed something, right? So they sent a covert operative team, right, into the state of Vermont, which is close to the Canadian border, okay, where maple trees were invented, right? It's true. You can look it up. Okay, maple trees were invented in Vermont, right? Maple syrup comes from Vermont. Everybody knows this. Everybody knew this forever, right? And then those Canadians came around and they go, we need a national symbol. What can we use as a national symbol that would just stick it to those gosh darn it Americans down there in the United States and stuff, you know? And somebody, they call him a patriot. He's not a patriot. He's just a Canadian. He says, well, why don't we use the maple leaf as our national symbol? What better way to get back at those Americans for being so much better than us? And I don't think we should stand for that anymore. And recently I found out through a person that I'm just going to call, Jeff B. You know, he's a Canadian. And I found out that he's a smuggler. He's a kind of guy, right, who makes fake maple syrup, right? Smuggles it into into the United States, right? Over past the borders. That's a felony, I think, and I think that goes to federal jail or prison, right? You know, fake maple syrup into the state of Vermont or other states around the country, disguised as official, real, authentic maple syrup from either Canada or Vermont. Or usually they'll say it's from Vermont, and then people will discover it's not real and stuff, you know. And I found out this JB guy, you know, he's actually he's been smuggling and well, he's been harboring Somalian syrup runners, and we know he's yeah, Ben Franklin voted for the turkey. Yeah, that'd be funny as fuck, you know. But we would think of turkeys differently then, you know. But anyway, we know this for a fact that you know uh, Canada's only doing this to rub it in our face, right? That they got one over on us. And there's like I said, this guy JB. Since I found out all this information, right, through thorough research, you know, and Googling things and looking things up and assuming things and coming up with conclusions and just making shit up. I've come to the conclusion that JB, if that's really your real initials, right? He's a Canadian. He's well, he's a syrup terrorist and he needs to be stopped. And he's been threatening me. I've gone to the authorities and we've got connections here at Lobster Studios and Hot Wiener Emporium. We your wife's just started working for Mr. B. Oh, come on, I gotta stop looking at the side chat. Anyway, so this guy JB, like I said, if that's his real initials, because he's probably some sort of covert spy with hundreds of aliases, right? Been threatening me. I say, bring it, you bacon head. Right? Couldn't even call you a cheesehead because you're so chicken you won't even cam up. I don't think as Americans, real Americans, we should stand for Canadian injustice and tomfoolery, mocking our way of life. If they can take maple syrup from Vermont, where it was invented, steal it, take it to their country and make it their own, and what says they can't? Well, they have Major League Baseball in Canada now. How American is that? The the NBA is in fucking Canada now. The NBA it's an American event. The Canadians are trying to take over. They're trying to be something that they're really not. And what they are, what they want to be, and what they'll never be is us. Real Americans. Proud of our fucking heritage. Inventing literally everything and making shit up as we go fucking along. Now, you might say this JB character, who may or may not be his real initials, is a quasi sort of, well, I think of the monkey that throws poop at the zoo, you know, throws his own poop because that's all he knows. Hey, how you doing, Mr. United for the Children? Anyway, but so we're fighting that battle. You know what? I've been told that Trump is the only reason that I haven't been extradited to Canada for crimes against syrup. And I told him, I said, look, nobody's fucking holding me, nobody's protecting me. You want me? Come get me. You know, I've got a printer that is working overtime right now, right? As does he. There's papers being filed and papers being copied and printed just left and right on both sides. It's a fucking nasty fight, right? One of us is going to fucking federal prison, you know, and it's not going to be me because our printer probably runs a little bit faster than you. Although we both have probably about the same amount of spare time on our hands. That's why we're doing this. But, you know, printers are going, you know, papers are being filed, you know, a lot of this is being done. Stop it. Ugh. I mean, you know, one of us is, you know, it's, you know, I don't think either one of us has actually found a pro bono attorney that could, well, you know, he is from Canada, and those sneaky Canadians, they probably have some kind of loophole in their law. I'm sorry, Wilson. Grampy lobster. So, how long do you think G-Man's month off is going to last? Well, if G-Man, you know, I'm just glad G-Man's PB doesn't hurt anymore, and I'm glad it doesn't burn when he pees. When that shit was his talking about how you get a UTI, and I mean that whole fucking thing, you know, and getting G-Man to say things like PP, you know, it's oh my god, that whole fucking thing is oh shit. I love it, but G-Man's gonna be off for a month. I didn't know that. I've been watching that stuff for the last few days. I've had a few things going on that I'm going to get into in a little bit that have, yeah, bombed Canada. You know, I think South Park, oh, I get the words wrong. Yeah, blame Canada. It's Canada's fault, you know. He wasn't getting enough B-17. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that, you know, you know, for a UTI, you know, and you get dehydrated. There's different way, and I watched that thing that Dragnon did, right? You know, he's kind of person that has a way with words, and he's very articulate, and he's a good orator and stuff. And I'm not, um, but yeah, and you can look it up, right? Uh, I'm not going to say whether I've actually had one or not before in my life, because somebody will get the sound bite and have fun with it, and you know. But there's a lot of ways to treat it. There's different way, you know. It just and his grasp of science, right? Uh, it makes me like I don't know, feel like I'm actually smart, you know, because I might not know sometimes what they're talking about, but at least I'm able to listen and maybe absorb and get something and kind of get the general idea and stuff, you know. And then G-Man opens his mouth, and holy fuck, man. It's oh shit. I still can't get that Audacity song out of my fucking head. That's one of the most brilliant fucking songs I've heard. I'm not into the rap, you know, like the club's music or you know the rap or whatever the fuck genre that is, but I got to tell you, I have it. I've actually recorded it, and I was actually going to do a video one time and just dance like in my chair and just because I hear that video and I just uh, it's funny as fuck, you know. Oh yeah, Monty. I mean, if you could, yeah, sound mixing and stuff like that. I mean, that you know, like I said, I'm not into that genre, but I understand the context of the song and everything like that. And I think the only person that doesn't understand truly that song is G-Man. Um, but he even admits it's good because he dances to it and he thinks, oh, everything you know that him is you know because it's about him again. But yeah, I've uh, anyway, you know, we here at Lobster Studios and Hot Wiener Emporium, you know, we're always expanding our horizons, going into different directions. to keep people updated and get the latest skinny on pretty much everything. And since we've opened our bounty hunting, bounty enforcer detective service, we've been getting a lot of fucking mail. We've been getting a lot of requests to help track down certain people. And if you've been noticing this brown manila envelope that I received in the mail, I mean, special today, right? Brown manila envelope right here, right? It was heavily taped, so it was security and stuff, and it had that little fucking thing that you gotta, what I'm talking about. The thing, it was all flattened out and stuff, and it was taped over, and it was like really hard to get into. So it was actually very, it was secure. It was something that, um, I can't give you the address of the seller or the sender because I don't know. They might get into trouble, but I don't know. This might be some sort of a for an unboxing, if you will. Uh, yeah, manila envelopes, man. Uh, I may have shown my address. Holy fuck! Well, the person that sent it to me found my address. It's not hard to find. But anyway, yeah, manila envelopes because you know a lot of important shit, secret documents are hidden all over the country, all around the world in manila envelopes. And when Von Helton, well, when he's getting ready to, he's got manila envelopes stacked everywhere. And because everything important is in a manila envelope these days, because why wouldn't it be? I don't care if Vaughn gets my docs. Jesus Christ, I lived in Rhode Island for what, over 2 years, and he still thought I lived in Oregon. You know, I'm like, geez. And then he didn't believe me that I lived in Rhode Island, that I was living in Rhode Island, right? He goes, well, why does it say Oregon? I'm like, geez. Anyway, but sort of like I said, an unboxing, if you will, you know, and actually, this came from actually the I don't know if you can see this, but Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation, 935 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest Washington, D.C., 20535-0003, to City Marshal. I'm not going to tell you where exactly, and it's got all the lists of the FBI field offices and everything. It's just so, we could be informed of the latest and everything. And it seems that they're looking for somebody who's out there, right? And, well, they heard about our reputation, thought they'd give us a try. So they said, well, you wanna join? Well, we don't want to join your team. We're lone wolves. We work our own schedule. We work our own way. We have our own style, right? We're ruthless. You know, we go where you can't go, right? And so they gave me this FBI wanted for somebody who's goes by the name of James J. Bolger. Uh, he's from Boston, Massachusetts, 5'7", 150 pounds, medium build, white hair, white silver, eyes blue. Got some pictures of him here. This is an actual FBI one. You know, and I can verify it by the seller or well, not the seller, because it was given to me. It was sent to me because out of by request for my assistance, but racketeer influenced and holy fuck, they put the little punch fucking holes in there for the notebooks. But anyway, organizations, RICO, 18 murders, conspiracy to commit murder, conspiracy to commit extortion, narcotics distribution, conspiracy to commit money laundering, extortion. And this guy sounds like a really bad guy. And he's got some pictures of him, and there's a picture of a lady that he's with, and his fingerprints and stuff. And it says apparently he's being sought for his role in numerous murders committed from the early 70s. That's back in the day. Through the mid 80s, in connection with his leadership of organized crime groups that allegedly controlled extortion, drug dealers, and other illegal activities in Boston, Massachusetts area. He has a violent temper. Well, that's good to know because Carl's been taking some martial arts classes. He found some guy in the phone book, Mr. Green, that has a dojo. Anyway, and he gets his picture taken in a one of those suits and stuff, in a karate position. And that's I think $50 well spent. He has a violent temper and is known to carry a knife at times, considered armed and extremely dangerous. Well, and why wouldn't we take a case like this? We can do some looking, we can do some checking. Maybe talk to a few people, a few insiders. There's some people out there that owe us some favors from back in the day. Mr. Green Dojo, yeah, Mr. White, yeah, and I bet you that JB guy, that monkey, oh God, I can't even go to the zoo anymore because I think of him every time I go through the monkey cage. Quasi shit. Fuck. Why do I let Canadians get to me? I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna get on it. We're gonna do some searching and maybe aliases too. Now this is when you can tell that somebody's really an evil person, right? Aliases: Thomas F. Baxter. So if you know a Thomas F. Baxter, please contact the FBI. If you know a Jimmy Bulger, please contact the FBI. Jimmy Boy Bulger. That might have been maybe he's hiding out in Alabama, Tennessee, something like that, kind of a country place. We give that country feel. James Joseph Bulger Jr., Whitey, Tom Harris, Tom Marshall, and Mark Short. So he's an older gentleman, so it's not like he's going to be able to run. Working an old guy like that high. Yeah, I think it's very convicted of bank robbery. Those are scum. Burns my American blood every time I hear about that. Anyway, and it's signed Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Identification Order 5268 revised November 24th, revised in 2000. So this is an actual sent from the FBI. Yeah, so that. Well, when they heard of us, they could have called anybody, but they called us because, well, I'm pretty sure we can catch this guy in due time. Anybody has any information, just let me know, and we can capture this guy and take this bad guy off the fucking street. Karate Kyle, absolutely. Carl is going to be Karate Carl, and his memes will become internet famous. But you know what? Carl's the kind of guy who would let you take that meme and use it, and just for his sheer love of karate and not to make money, like some people that, I'm serious. When I was looking up, when I actually looked up Mr. Green's dojo and I Googled it, right? Never came up with anything. I don't remember what town he lived in Ohio when he went to Mr. Green's dojo, but I did find something that's really, they're called McDojos, these little franchises, I wouldn't be surprised if he went to a place like that because they'll teach, a lot of those will teach things like some mystical kind of force, like, Von Helton with the groundhog, that to place that idea in the head, there's all sorts. If you look on the internet, right, a lot of these fake martial artists or con men from years ago when there wasn't an MMA or people that actually fought and they had a lot of this bullshit going around. I'm not talking about Bruce Lee bullshit. Is that I'm talking about these guys that could do things and You see it on the internet. With Frank, shit. I was just watching that one old fat guy that it used to be in like Black Belt magazine, and they used to sell these, things about, mystical and secret karate and all these new fucking techniques and shit. And turns out it's all bullshit, and to get people to, you know, I mean, when the way you, I mean, I've had a friend go to one of these places years ago, right? He went for years and years and years, and it was almost like a money pit, right? I mean, I get, you pay dues, and but in order you couldn't get another level, another belt, up higher unless you paid a lot of money for it and stuff. And he'd get his picture taken in his fucking suit every year, and he'd have it on his fucking wall. And when Frank Dukes, yeah, and there's that other guy, that old fat guy, and then I saw a video on YouTube. It's called, is this one old guy that used to, he was a real bullshit artist. He'd do this stuff where he could like touch and use his force and do this and stuff, to get people to like fall over, and he'd take on like, 10 of his 10 these people and stuff, and they'd end up being his students, and they'd do the act of falling over and flipping and shit. And he actually had a fight with a guy that was an MMA fighter. This before MMA was like big and stuff. Guy that, I think he was in China. He's trying to make MMA in China a thing. And anyway, he took on this guy, and this guy tried his fucking weird shit and everything, and the guy just got the shit kicked out of him. It was funny to watch, and he got slack for it, right? And it's like, nah, he's exposing bullshit, You just got here, Mudbrucker? Well, can we start over? Absolutely, in a little bit, in a nutshell. We're trying out this StreamYard thing, got the free version. And some guy named that, like I said, like I said, Mudbrucker, and like I said, I know for people that are just popped in, there's 5 people watching. Anyway, just for Mudbrucker, just to rehash, we all know that everything in good was, invented in the United States and stuff, and the fact that Canada keeps stealing things from us because all they have is ice and snow. And I mean, they've stolen they're trying to steal baseball, hockey, basketball. But the biggest thing was when they went into Vermont many years ago, because they didn't have anything, right? And they stole maple trees and the syrup and everything, and made the maple leaf their national symbol, and just to piss off the United States. And not many people know about that. And there's some people out there that are harboring Somalian syrup runners, and one of these people is a nemesis of mine that I've exposed, and he doesn't like it, and he keeps threatening me. And like I said, his initials may be JB or something. It's sort of a fucking monkey. He just doesn't know when to shut up. He just yaps like a monkey, was like bullshit, And let me see what else. Oh yeah, you just got here, so you missed the big news about our new business venture. We're in the bail enforcement business now here at Lobster Studios and Hot Wiener Emporium, and we got something legitimately from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the United States Department of Justice, from the FBI, and it's right there and stuff. It's real. It's got all the addresses in there, and they're wanting for us to help find a fugitive that is a pretty bad guy, and his name is James J. Bolger. And if you've heard of this guy, if you've seen this guy, call the FBI. Call the fucking FBI and tell them Grampy Lobster told you to call. And if that happens, I'm sure I'll be having somebody knocking on my fucking door. But pre-sorted, standard postage and fees paid by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So if they sent it to us, which they totally honestly did, but but it's a real one, and it was sent to us, and we feel, hey, we feel that we can crack this one, maybe get the reward. So if anybody wants to help us find James J. Bolger, goes by nickname of oh shit, he's Jimmy Bolger, Whitey Bolger. He's got a lot of Bolger names and stuff, and so if you'd like to help out, we damn sure we damn sure could use the help, and we'd appreciate the help. And when we get the reward, we'll damn sure fucking share it with you. But so actually, Bozo, that's pretty much in a nutshell. Because well, hopefully, let me see what happens here. I'm going to turn off. I'm going to take about a 3-minute break, and I'm going to do well, something that might be against the law in your state. So if you'd be watching it, you might be committing a felony, or and stuff. But sometimes when we talk, we choke. So not to like scare people and think that I'm having a stroke or something if I'm taking a few hits. I mean, I cannibalized the gas mask bong. I've been smoking out of this thing for a while, and it's not actually too bad. It's like a dry bong thing. It doesn't have really a lot of room for water anyway. But have to have on my short list is unforgivable. But let me see. We're going old school. Fuck you, Von Helton. Hey, Stinky. Anyway. I'll be right back. I also have to pee. I was watching that Von Helton Brett Keane hangout tonight, that show. I lost my buzz twice watching that fucking hangout. That was some of the dumbest shit, right? At one point, Von Helton said that the Marines even had, because he was talking about the Treaty of Tripoli, when the Muzzies declared war on America and all that shit, and that the Marine, this is where I was like, holy fuck, the Marines even have a song about Tripoli. And I'm like, what the fuck? And how can he be a flat earther and still believe in fucking aliens and shit like that? Is beyond me, but he has a fucking theory that's dumber than anything that I've seen so far. And of course, J Dubs was in there, or as I call him, the world's shittiest Jew. And God, he's a clown. Fucking Brett Keane. And he's got a fucking picture of him. Everybody knows that Brett Keane is too fucking lazy and fat to even like cam up when he claims everybody has to cam up, to be in his show and everything like that. But the one picture that he puts up there makes him look at least like he's, I don't know, like not fat and diabetic and, like looks like he's as old as Von Helton. I mean, criminy. Oh yeah, he's just, yeah, it's called the fucking official Brett Keane, or the official God TV radio show by Brett Keane. It's that long of a fucking name, and it's like, holy fuck, and just the crap. I mean, the general, and then they got this young Earth creationist guy that had this. Oh my God, dumber than a bag of stupid shit, and he's got God, and I mean, the way they talk about, Democrats. Hold on, fuck. I gotta take a couple more. I'll be right back. Yeah, William Shatner did a lot of things that weren't exactly his shining moments or proudest. Okay, we're back. I peed and got really high because I'm going to be talking about something that is. Yeah, I'm joking around. I'm kind of built up to something because it's a, and not just I'm talking about now with Von Health and shit, but I'm going to be talking about something that's very. It's happened in the last few days. Seriously, not and the way it's affected me, and the people that you hear. Uh, it's hard to explain, but anyway. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this earlier. Oh, that Von. Somebody sent. A lot of times people send links. They see something. I put the fucking link after it was given to me. That Ku Klux Klan manager. Well, actually, you want to. We all know that Snyder, the handyman. Is he claims to be a manager, assistant manager, or something like that at a chain of Ku Klux Klan franchises in strip malls. Claims to be a shift manager, a general manager, whatever like that. But what we've actually learned is he's nothing more than a third shift assistant shift leader janitor. That's all he is. You know, and I have no idea why I said that, but oh god, but it just, oh god, that fucking hangout. I'm watching it. It was just a box full of stupid, right? And somebody says, I was talking to a couple of people, messaging back and forth during that show. Finally, I stopped. I didn't see the end of it. I don't. I think I watched about. I started like when you sent me the link. It wasn't very far into. I'm not really sure what they were talking about. I watched it for about an hour, and I had to literally get high over twice because I lost my buzz of just the general stupid, right? Talking about Nephilim and politics, right? Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that are friends of mine, right? That we don't agree on politics, right? Um, there's different ways we release, you know, I think sometimes I have a friend. I think sometimes he does it because I do it, and then I do it because he did it. And it's like the shittiest of both sides. Um, and I've actually uh, unfriended a couple of people a couple of times, briefly, and one not yet brought back. But because at certain times I'm like, oh come on, this is just getting goddamn hateful, right? This is just no, this is you know, um, but and they're conservatives, right? And I can have a genuine pissing contest with them, and I think both of us would understand where the other one's coming from or the ideas of who said it and stuff without like bringing in like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and demons and Moloch and the tablet, Thoth and the Hopi prophecy and fucking Greys and reptilians and um, just the general horse shit that comes out of Vaughn's mouth. It's just, but it's getting to the point now where, and I even messaged it to a couple of people I was talking to. It's like when he started in at a certain point, it's like when he started like the Hopi prophecy, you're like, oh, here we go, right? And gradually, he's got this recycled thing that we've heard like over it. It's like a script, right? And normally he doesn't get the opportunity to get it all out and then not be ridiculed and made fun of because it's stupid. But this time he was, he's like he was on a panel, right? He was an authority, right? Somebody, hey, you're a pagan, And to what? Oh oh my God, oh shit, Mahat Irvin von Rothschild the 14th. You run thin, I suppose those don't push me. Uh, and Bozo, I got to tell you, you said that where you lived was a little bit odd, right? You got the bikers, and I know you live by a biker bar, and I think every time I've talked to you, I've heard shit in the background that was, you got some biker bar, but so and like I said, it's a pretty dangerous sounding area, and you described it as odd, right? And I'm like, no, I live in an odd fucking city. Sure, we got meth heads and you should see this guy today, man. He had like a bikini bottom on and like these really like up to his knees, these purple fucking stocking socks, right? And that was it, right? And then he had this man bun on top of his head. He was pretty tall, kind of tall, right? And he was this chunky fucker, right? Now I'm not judging anybody for how they want to present themselves, usually, but oh god, that was one of the funniest things. I almost dropped. Seriously, when I seen it, it was just I was like, what? Like, holy shit, ain't he pretty today? And nearly dropped my fucking coffee, and that wouldn't have it's got new brakes on the lobster coop. When a car gets so old, they become money pits. And it's like every few months, there's this and that. And every once in a while, but $600 later, and I at least know now that for a fact that my car will stop when I need it to, especially coming off the highway. So that's always a plus, Um, but when cars get older, they tend to be in. Don't We don't drive that much. I mean, it doesn't take very long to get anywhere around here and stuff. And a lot of times people will give you a ride, or it's not hard to get places. But hey, Grampy, hello, Grampy, Famer7, do I know you? Are you a troll or are you a good person? Okay, even if you're a troll, are you a good troll or are you a bad troll? Either way, I don't care. just glad to see you. You know, we're up to 8 viewers, but yeah, watching that G-Man or the yeah, G-Man, that was his fucking urinary tract infection. You know, talking to people that, and this is one thing that I've always found just fascinating to watch, and everybody watches a lot of this lol shit um, for different reasons. So a lot of times because some people when they see people like G-Man or Von Helden and stuff, they just get angry because they're stupid and they say really stupid things. You know, other people watch it for different reasons because they want to see somebody that actually has brains, like wipe the floor, you know, like what Dragnut does with G-Man or Uncle D-Roy, right? Um, that's entertaining as fuck, right? Because you hear somebody's perspective, what they're, you know, it's actually wow, from the good old Von Helton days. I thought I recognized. Um, wow, geez, the good old Von Helton days. Do you remember how far back the good old Von Helton days? I've been making Von Helton videos for like probably going on 7 years. You know, my old channel, the one that got shut down by that fucker, and well, I don't know. But anyway, uh, anyway, they got me for bullying and secular. You don't even spell his name right. Like Bonk. N-I. Anyway. But yeah, you know, I just oh god. So like I said before, secular opinion is back, and the way he commentates is you know, like I said, he has a way with words. He's very, you know, precise and everything, and you know things once again that I'm not. But you know, I just that's why I do videos the way I do normally because you know I'm not like articulate when I speak, and you know I tend to ramble and stuff. So you know, just stopping at videos at certain points and getting to a certain particular point of a video, like a lot of people will do, and I can't. I just make montages, and hopefully you get the fucking idea. You know, yeah, but yeah, Hot Wheels. But yeah, it's Hot Wheels. He's got his setup coming this month. You know, his layout. That's going to be a hoot. Uh, God, if that's secular opinion, which it's not, that and he's got some shitty spelling. Um, but anyway, uh, can't wait for his layout. What colors are going to be? Blue, you know, whatever. Uh, purple, you know. How many new cars is he going to have? Is he actually going to have his layout? I mean, when are we going to actually see, you know, the toilet bowl speedway up and running? You know, you know, who knows? Anyway, you know, I this is why I have fun. Eh, something's happened in the last couple of days that's been coming for years. And, a lot of people, like, I don't know if Mudbrucker's still in here. I know Bozo's known me for a long time. Mudbrucker knew me when I lived in Oregon. A lot of things. Um, I had my taken off the internet after a month, and I don't know, but my original meltdown, when things happened before I left Oregon, and what had happened, and where I was going, and pretty much completely like broke down on the internet. And I'm not just, but there's some people that I still know that remember the entire story of and how it developed, and how I literally ended up in Rhode Island as almost a necessity. And it was I never, and this isn't like for sympathy. This is because hopefully you'll understand in a little bit. It's something that I'm dealing with, and I've always tended to share shit, right? And if you want to share this with somebody and make fun of it or whatever, that's on you. I honestly don't like give a fuck, right? Um, it's something that's been on my mind, and I like talking. So, but anyway, I didn't, and I've always claimed this, and I've always told people this, but I never came from a family that feelings weren't there. There wasn't a love, of family. It was very, like you against me, and literally everything, abusive, physically and mentally. I mean, back, if you said something, well, what goes on behind closed, and this isn't sexually. I wasn't raped as a child. That's not where I'm going. But in some cases, this would have happened to somebody. But things that would happen behind closed doors when you're a child, and in days gone by, um, you had no outlet, right? If you went to like the police, they'd send you home, right? Because oh, Johnny's being, he always likes to run away and tell stories. Ha ha. Oh, Johnny, you, and then they bring the kid home and close the door, and the kid, gets, you know, or they'd say, go to if you ever need to, go to an adult, a family, somebody. But whether you went to the clergy, if you went to your teacher, you always ended up, unless there was like, I guess in some cases it did, but usually if you said, you always ended up back home, right? Or you ended up in juvenile, or you ended up in foster care, which no better, which I never did. But anyway, um, things like develop in your mind as you go through life, of past experiences, and uh, traumatic things that happen, um, and a lot of just things that aren't acceptable today, right? I'm not talking about spanking your kid, a little bit. I mean, I personally, if I had children now, I wouldn't spank them. I mean, what fucking good does it do? But um, it's um, something that you move on with your life, but certain things will always stick with you, right? Um, and mine was my father, right? Uh, I've told people over the years the only thing my father ever did for me was take me to baseball, introduce me to baseball, right? He gave me the love of baseball, right? But we never communicated it at the game, right? And I saw a lot of great baseball games. Trust me, I've seen a lot of Hall of Famers. I've seen, it just, but there wasn't a connection there because there was no communication during the game, because he just kept score with his thing in his ear and stuff. And my job, right? I mean, I'd get a hot dog and a Coke out of it, maybe a bag of peanuts. But my job, basically, and I was told this, was to remember where we parked at Dodger Stadium, or San Diego Stadium or Anaheim Stadium. We lived in Southern California. Anyway, so but there was no connection. I mean, there was no discussion about the game. There was no talking during the game because he was busy keeping score and his little score and stuff. But it gave me the love of baseball and certain things that I like. And as far as I'm concerned, that's about it. You know, um, other than that, he was the guy that I was literally afraid of my entire life because I was his beating stick. Right, I was his target, and it's widely known in my family. I mean, it's all good. And I've talked about this with some people, and I mean, I was the thing he took out for his frustrations in his own life, right? And I think some people can understand what I mean by that, right? I was just saying, don't hit him in the face. Don't basically, hit him somewhere where there's no bruises. Um, when your mother has to come into a room, it's about every time and go, "What do you think he's had enough?" You know. And even later, I mean, and like the literal fear, right? And home was not a safe place, you know. I mean, I didn't understand what nerves were really until I was like 40 years old, and they do these tests and shit, right? I didn't know that. I didn't understand that I'd been a nervous wreck, right? Until I was like 40 years old, right? I didn't know what that was, you know, um, because I'd felt this way my whole life. I was fearful. I was well, I was told I wouldn't do anything, so I didn't. So, but I mean, on certain levels and stuff. But even later in life, when a lot of things caught up with me, and I ended up in Oregon, right? Uh, Trying to make it to a connect. Somewhere along the line, we're all older now. Let's be adults. And um, not the physical, but the emotional. Sometimes you're still afraid of somebody, you know, even though you know damn well if you wanted to, you could break their fucking kneecaps and you know kick them in the head, and you know, not much of a fight. And I'm not a fighter. I mean, I'm not one of these people that And I'm telling you all this for a reason. I mean, anyway, um, ooh, I got 7 people watching, but I thought there would be a connect because I was there to help them. They were there to help me. And with my time with them over the years, I give people you saw, he lived in a trailer on my parents' property and stuff. So I was around them all the time, and I realized that he still hadn't changed. Right? He was still not physically like intimidating, but still it's that person, And so I mean, and after my mother passed, and just what he literally wouldn't do or thought was an inconvenience, when my mother was like laying in a hospital bed in our house, right, and it being an inconvenience for him, and it just blew my mind, and I'm like, this man really doesn't give a fuck, right? Seriously, right? And any bit of, I don't know, respect I had for him had pretty much gone out the window by then. And after my mother passed, um, all of a sudden he thought that I was supposed to be his buddy or some shit, which didn't work out very long because at that point I just didn't like him. And anyway, Mrs. Lobster, for a long time, when I first met her, could run uh, interference, because we were his driver. He would introduce us as his chauffeur. Because now it was our turn to take care of him for some fucking reason. He thought we cared at this point, but we did, right? Thinking that there would be a connection and there'd be some kind of, gee, we're, this is all we have is each other type thing, which never fucking happened. And it really got worse. And, Mrs. Lobster would run, interference on so many times because I couldn't fucking take it. I was ready to snap because it was like, how fucking dare you? Who the fuck are you? And that worked for a while, over a year. And then shit started going downhill. And every time I go outside, he wanted to ride. I was like snapping. I was ready to do something, right? I had literally had it with this man, right? I was done. And I started having thoughts, right? Now, people that know me, right? I don't fight, right? I'm not a boxer. I'm not a wrestler. I do watch pro wrestling, but I'm nobody that most in real life. I don't fight, right? If you want to fight, fuck off. Kick my ass and feel good about yourself. I really don't give a shit, at this point in my life. Fuck you, right? So I don't worry about shit like that. I don't put myself in that position, right? And I really never have. Well, there's certain times in my life where I have, and I have defended myself. I said, and I can neither confirm nor deny that I've used foreign objects at people before and meant bodily harm and stuff. But I'm not a fighter. It's not. This has never been. I'm not the guy that's gonna come out swinging and going, come on, motherfucker. Think you can kick my ass? If you can, then I'm fucked. I don't fight. I'll make fun of you. Absolutely, right? Sue me. And I'll call you a cunt because I don't care. I mean, I seriously don't. But anyway, this is weird. But anyway, it had gotten to the point where I was going to kill my father. Right? I had a plan. I had a baseball bat and an axe handle. I was going to just knock his knees out and just literally beat the fucking life out of him. And then it scared the fuck out of me, right? And I've had mental issues in my past. I've talked about that before and stuff. Difficulty with dealing with things at times, but it was something that I never even thought could cross my mind, and I was serious about doing it, and I was gonna do it, and I had a plan, and it scared the fuck out of me. Hey, boy, this is a weird time, kind of awkward time for you to jump into this fucking show because, we've gotten down in the fucking rabbit hole of Grampy, but it's something that I want to discuss because, like I said, recent. But anyway, I was gonna kill him, right, and that scared the fuck out of me, right? Because I had gotten to that point in my life for the first time where I was going to kill somebody, right? It wasn't a matter of, I'm still thinking it was going to fucking happen. That scared the fuck out of me, right? And then we had kind of a thing with pills, which I kind of had to think about that too. But it scared the fuck out of me. And I called the VA hotline. This was the first time I'd ever done it, and they got me in. God, this dude talked to me for like 7 fucking hours, right? And I wasn't going to do it, but they had a program, and PTSD and anger management, and just the domiciliary in White City, Oregon. And in order to go, I had to be going to the program. It was 90 to 120 days, and um, it was the only choice I had. It was that or do something really stupid. And so Mrs. Lobster dealt with my father for the next 3.5 months. And, he actually liked her, because she's very friendly, right? And plus, I told her, I said, "Well, you're the only daughter-in-law he has that'll even speak to you, so you win by default." And she knew not to take that as an insult because she knew my father by this point. When we first met, when Mrs. Lobster first moved in with me in my glorious 40-foot long travel trailer, that anyway, that was fun. That was 7 years of my life that I loved. But anyway, Mrs. Lobster and I, we were still dating at the time, but one morning we were having coffee, and he come into my trailer. And I was, like, I've told this story before, but I was talking to my wife, Mrs. Lobster, about the difference between civilian humor and military humor. What's funny in the military isn't necessarily funny in civilian life, right? And anybody that's ever been in the military or something like that, or in anywhere where it's funny here, but it's not going to be funny anywhere else, right? Because nobody's going to get it, and they're going to find it whatever. So I'm explaining certain things, but the term "Joe shit the rag man," it's okay to call somebody in the army, but don't call him that. Don't call your coworker at a grocery store "Joe shit the rag man" because you're going to get written up. Just anecdotal things. And so his idea of something that was funny in the Navy, right? And this is a woman that he had just met for probably the third time, but very briefly, right? And he says, when I was in the Navy in Western Pacific, is Navy talk. He says, they found these two fags, and they threw them in the shower, and they got a couple of grease guns, and they pumped grease up their ass. And he's got this grin on his face, right? And Mrs. Lobster's like looking at me like in this, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of, you stole my bicycle. Oh, Cap, did you just come in? Cap, did you just come in? Did you see the beginning of this? I need an answer, young man, or I'll expose you. Look, in case you haven't, I told you, man. We got the FBI wanted poster, and we will be more than happy to try to locate this James J. Bolger guy, because he sounds like a real bad guy, right? And we've got the resources here now. Like I said, Carl is actually taking ninja classes at a local dojo, Mr. Green's dojo. So we'll have the muscle, and we can do our research, because apparently he's in the New England area, the Boston area. So we're going to keep an eye out for this guy. But thank you so much for I was kind of when he told me wanted poster, I was kind of thinking like a wanted poster, like this and stuff. And I'm like, I seen this, and you know what? Next time, don't punch the fucking holes in them, man. I know it probably went in your little Rolodex thing, but oh my god, it's gonna look stupid framed now. Oh look, he pulled it out of the fucking thing. But no, anyway, I do. This is great. I'm gonna frame this to show that we are not going to stop until we find this James J. Bolger character. He sounds like a really bad hombre, and I think he needs to be off the streets, And so we're going to do the best we can. Anyway, on with the story. And there is a point to this. But so while I was in the VA, and I've told this story before, but this is kind of a, $100 version. Went in there. Oh God! And then they come up. They drug test you because it's a government, it's a VA and all this stuff. And they got me for positive THC in my system. I'm like, oh shit! I live in Oregon. Well, that makes you an addict. So I had to fight for a while not to have to go to any AA meetings because 12 step programs are bullshit. But anyway, yeah, that's my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions. But when I was there, I was I talked to different people and a lot of really good people, right? Um, and it came up that I probably should distance myself as much as possible, but living in anywhere like in the Pacific Northwest or California, I would still be nearest relative, and it was like the best idea was for me to get the fuck out of town. So I did, and that's how I ended up in Rhode Island. But yeah, me THC. But yeah, oh god, I had to find so much crap. But it was he might have gone underground. Well, we're gonna look in every wait, they're not manhole covers anymore. I like the idea of I don't care about manhole covers. I always thought that's kind of stupid. I don't mind ground cover. I just don't understand why they literally have to I mean, I understand, mailman. Now there's letter carriers or postal or whatever the fuck, because men and women, uh, firemen are they're firefighters now. Police officers and policemen. I don't know or whatever the fuck, But Jesus, fuck, when they start having to rename fucking manhole covers and stuff because somebody doesn't want anyway. But anyway, getting back, this one counselor that I had met, he actually had, a little he knew what he was talking about. And we started talking about certain possibilities. And the whole thing about moving, just getting away, was pretty much my best bet, right? Just getting away, right? Distancing yourself and just had a side at him, which that's not the kind of person that can actually get completely out of your mind because some people are just assholes and just complete shitheads. Sociopath, narcissist, in it for them, fuck everybody else. And I didn't hide my feelings at this point. I told him, I said, look, I gotta leave. I didn't tell him exactly the exact real reasons I was leaving because I wanted to maybe leave on semi good terms or something. But and we had made an advance help, right, available, and we had a support system. He had a support. Everything was set up, ready to go. There shouldn't have been a problem, right? He had rides, right, because he couldn't drive, But it's all about him, and he, in the end, told me exactly what he thought about me and the fact that he thought I was a piece of shit and always was, and this and that and whatever the fuck, and jerked me off and fucked me wrong. And I'm like, okay, let's be honest. So I told him a few things, and I really didn't give a fuck. And that's the last time I ever spoke to him. Leaving Oregon, I mean, we packed up our car what we could. We left a lot of shit. We just left a lot of stuff there that I wish I still had or something, but because I was going to stay in Oregon, that was where I was going to live. I loved Oregon, and it was everybody complains about where they live, and it's a long way to get there. We live in the middle of nowhere, small town, but when you leave, a lot of times, you realize, really. And the first few years I was in Rhode Island, I was pissed off, right? I didn't want to be here, right? What the fuck did I want to come to Rhode Island for, right? And now I'm like, I even have people who live here. Why the fuck did you move here, right? And how do you tell somebody? Well, I did the Army, the VA sending me to college at CCRI. They're like, well, couldn't they send you to college in Oregon? And I'm like, well, there was and stuff and everything, And even almost 2 years after I left, I remember being in the car driving out to Rhode Island, out of New England. I get phone calls from this man. He'd be screaming at me on the phone. You pick this goddamn phone up. It's your father speaking. And I'm going, because he thought he could still intimidate. He thought that I was going to, last phone call I remember getting from him, we were on the road, it was like somewhere in Missouri or might have been Oklahoma. I don't fucking know. But they were just fucking screaming and all, you son of a bitch, how fucking dare you, and he called me a lot of names and stuff. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, aren't we a good Christian man? Which is another thing. If anybody else ever get this, I'm going to put the fear of God in you. I'm going to beat you so hard, I'm going to put the fear of God in you. That was something that was running around our fucking house. But anyway, I haven't really thought much of him in the last 10 years or 8 years. It's been, I'd call my family member that lives in Oregon and in that area and say, how's he? Because he's sitting in a fucking dark room wearing a diaper, screaming, has no idea where the fuck he's at, just have nothing left, right? And the other family member, I mean, he burnt like literally every fucking bridge, and this person would still keep, they make sure things were done right, and stuff, and because you have to be careful with nursing homes and patient care, especially the elderly, but anyway, there's been some problems before, but so there's one family member that a couple family members would visit my family member and maybe or maybe not go to visit him, but he didn't know who the fuck they were. He wouldn't even look at his great grandson, right? He was a beautiful fucking kid, right? Wouldn't even look, right? At this point, he still knew something, like it was just, and so every once in a while I say, yeah, what's been going on, because always some kind of a drama or whatever, and so, briefly discussed. And she actually showed me a video one time, sent me a video, a brief video. Just this is what actually he does now, not to mock or anything like that, but what he had actually been reduced to, right? His quality of life, what he, and it was fucking disturbing as shit, right? Anybody else, it would have been something that somebody would be going, oh my God, poor man, or something. And I had no fucking emotions, right? I didn't care, you know, not one fucking bit. And I got criticized because, a lot of people say that, in order to, get over things, you have, and move on, you have to forgive people. And that's just not true. It's not necessary to forgive somebody and move on with your life, even though things still carry on and there's just whatever. But anyway, yesterday morning I got a call here. It was a family member telling me that my father had died, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll call our brother, right? We're not. There's parts of our family that don't talk to each other, just like other families and stuff. But I spread the news to my brother, and we messaged back and forth for a few minutes, and didn't really have kind words to say about the man. I mean, not just purposely shitting on him, but there were no kind words. And as people, no, sorry to hear. I mean, I literally don't give a shit, you know. Um, but people are telling me, that's cold. How the fuck can you feel like that, right? I'm like, well, I feel how I fucking feel, you know. I don't really give a shit, you know. I don't have to forgive somebody in order to move on with my life, you know. You're not even a thought in my fucking head until this happens, right? And I tried to talk to a few people just to get a few things off my chest, and that's why I ended up doing this tonight, because this is pretty much what would have come out and stuff. And, I don't know how many people stay on the phone with me for that long, but a few people were like, that's just wrong, man. You should at least, he was your dad. And I'm like, fuck you. You don't tell me how to feel. You have no idea how I should feel about anything. You have no idea how I should feel. Fuck off, right? And so then, not long after, this last part has recently taken place in the last, okay, it started at 8:30 p.m. Last night. It's a little after midnight, so a few hours ago, I get a phone call. Now, mind you, there will be no memorial service for my father. There's going to be a short, brief military thing at the VA cemetery, and no service. It's not going to be like open. It's just, that's all. It's done, right? Well, one day, or tonight, I get a phone call, and it was from my parents' former pastor. And in the past, I'd had a pretty good relationship with him. I mean, he doesn't know I'm an atheist. Been an atheist for 10 years, but I don't want to have that conversation with him. I mean, he's been a nice guy. I mean, Fundy, yes, evangelical Lutheran, but I didn't want to like I never told my mother, right? Yeah, that would have broke her heart, right? And whether that was right or wrong, at least I had like, look, this is just, I'm not gonna. But plus, I'm not gonna have that conversation about, well, you must your faith has slipped and things like that. But he calls me. Like I said, I live we're 3,000 miles from Oregon, and he tries to inform me. Have you heard that your father passed away? Well, the only person that had known was myself, family members who aren't going to, contact that church, and somebody at the hospital and stuff. So we're trying to figure out automatically, like, okay, who's the snitch at the fucking the nursing home or the whatever, where is that? And anyway, so I'm like, yeah, I got a phone call at 8:30 yesterday morning, stuff like that, and he starts to give me the, like I said, I've had great discussions with the guy and stuff like that, and it's nothing personal and shit with him. He does his job. He's the pastor and stuff. And my mother was a very well loved member at that church and stuff. And my dad was just socially retarded and there for the food, and donuts, and coffee after the service, and acting like an idiot because, like I said, I've told people before, I had no idea what filters were or boundaries or anything like that growing up. I was in my 20s and had that beat into me by a couple of other people. And it had to be explained to me, it's not acceptable, you know. Um, but anyway, he's like, doing all the sad thing, and I think he was trying to. I've never really talked spiritually, even before I was, an atheist and stuff. I used to hang out with people, help do renovations and paint somebody's shed or do things and stuff. It was fun. I even did vacation Bible school one year, taught ceramics, right? Um, it was fun, and stuff. We did ceramic churches, and you know, but so I wasn't going to get into an atheist argument or some shit, and start something over and whatever. But he's like, well, your mother was a great, and she was well loved, and everybody knew my dad was an idiot, social idiot, just dumb fuck. And how fucking mean, look, I don't care. I didn't have, and it's not that I'm jealous. I am jealous. A lot of people, you talk about like family love, and things. I never learned that, right? Seriously, and I'm not whining here complaining, but I seriously do not understand this shit, right? Family, loyalty, or fuck, I never knew. I've never met the vast majority of cousins or uncles or just people and other people. It's like, fuck me. They have family reunions every fucking year. Our family just doesn't want to get together, right? I understand that, and a lot of times it's nothing personal. It's just like, we weren't related. We'd be friends. That's pretty much the attitude in our family. So these are things that I don't understand, and a lot of people don't understand that that you just don't understand that. What do you mean, stuff, or how I could be like not sad when my abuser, the guy who fucked me up for life, right, the originator of it, is dead. Why the fuck would I care? Am I supposed to care? Is it mandatory that I fucking care? I mean, because if it is, fuck, I'm not. I don't. And the pastor, like I said, I knew he was doing his fucking pastoral job and stuff like that, but he's not even their pastor anymore. But the thing, see, it all started when they Didn't really notice my father wasn't coming to church anymore until his, $30 a month tithing, automatic banking stopped coming in. Because nobody ever came to visit him at home. He'd get a ride to church every once in a while, one of the church members, but nobody came to visit, right? Nobody did. Family didn't, church members did. The man had no fucking friends, right? And it was just, so all of a sudden now, it's like, well, your mother was the one that brought him to Jesus. And I'm like, we are still talking about the same, because we had discussions about my father before I left Oregon and stuff, right? And he was actually, without him knowing, had a very big influence on me becoming an atheist. Just how they respond, like when somebody's asking serious life questions, you know, I don't want to hear Jesus, you know what I mean, or spiritual, or pray, or just, world a view that apparently conflicts with mine, you know, and he's trying to, like, not understanding that, look, I don't care, right? Well, we all had our flaws, and Jesus and the whole, we and uh, everybody has problems and this and that. Everybody, almost like saying it's a court, you know. And I'm like, no, it's just. I said, look, you really don't understand. Nobody gives a fuck. Still, and I like this man. I have nothing personal against him, right? And I don't want to have this conversation because it's not even necessary. I mean, I've never been one to really talk spiritually with him, even before I was an atheist and stuff. I I understood what he was talking about, or where he would be coming from a lot of times, and there are certain times I'd ask him, But anyway, it's amazing how many. So anyway, this conversation was uh, not going the way he like thought it might. You know, um, yeah, I mean, because they had a guy try to sneak in without her. He signed. Look, my father. They wanted to send like these prayer people or somebody from the church to go visit, right, at where he was at, right. And like I said, the man sat in a dark room in a diaper, right, in the dark, right, yelling and screaming and making noises and stuff and shit in his diaper, pissing. He just, you know, which once again, I don't care, and but they want to like bring Jesus to him again and shit. And we're trying to explain to him this man has no fucking clue who the fuck you are, right? He has no idea what the fuck is coming out of your mouth, right? And my relative, everybody, family member, she's not an atheist, right? I mean, she believes in something that's magical and happy, at least, not, you know, and it just it calling me like I trying to almost like find good things out of people, right? Good things to say when you seriously don't have anything good to say, right? Um, and then people not understanding that no, I really don't give a no. There's nobody's going to be saying anything nice. So uh, it you know it came to a point where I was like, oh shit, I don't want to have the atheist fucking, because that can be a very weird fucking conversation. I just like, because both people are when you explain that you don't believe it's real, don't think it's real, right? And then they'll talk like, well, Satan's got a hold of you, and you're like, nah, it's not. That's not how it is. So, and like I said, I am not the most articulate person. I'll tend to just say, you know what, fuck you, you know. And I have many times, and I've lost friends over it and stuff, and I've had my ass kicked a couple of times in my life. Just saying, you know what, fuck you, you know. I mean, but sometimes that's just how shit is. Uh, but so I ended up getting, he wanted to get the spellings of all of our names, because he's gonna, like I said, he's not even a pastor at that church anymore. He's somewhere else and stuff. He travels a lot, Anyway, so he's going to conferences, and, overseas and shit. But evangelical Lutherans, the Michelle Bachmann clan type of shit, the shit from Minnesota. But they're still trying to get me to I'm like, I mean, he asked me, he goes, well, where's your brother so and so live? I said, somewhere in West Virginia. Do you know the town? Or he said it in a Minnesota accent, And I'm like, thinking to myself, going, God, he would never fucking forgive me if he, and which wouldn't bother me. But anyway, it'd be funny. But anyway, because he'd be like, fuck you. But I just went, nah, I don't remember offhand. I talk to him on Facebook sometimes or some shit, But so, he made sure he got all the spellings correctly and stuff. And, he's like, well, this is he's never liked my sister, right? She's the one in Oregon that she was my go-to person before I left and stuff. And they never liked her, and because she's gay. And hate the sin, love the sinner. It still starts with hate, and they'll go. But when the conversation, I forgot to mention when the conversation first starts tonight. He's like, your sister and that church ain't exactly the best of friends. I don't exactly get along. I was like, yeah, and I went into a big thing about why, invasion of privacy and just being general, like, just leave him alone, let him, he has no idea what the fuck, he's not getting the fucking hint, you know. Yeah. I mean, I'm past even really giving a shit about that, because after tonight, I mean, he's like, well, now you got my phone number, we can call, talk again. I'm like, yeah, we should do that soon. Yeah, bye. You know, uh, try to say nice things about people that you seriously didn't like, right? Whether they're your father or whoever, if they're not a good person, and look, I am not, and I don't jump on that moral bandwagon, right? I am not a role model. I never claimed to be, you know, but part of it can be traced back to my father. He was no role model either. And even some of that rubbed off on me. I don't fucking know. He probably did, you know. It does with some people, does with other people. Other people have a shitbag fucking scumball for a fucking parent, and they get through it in spite of them, you know. And I did in a lot of ways, but there was just a lot of shit that wasn't gonna fucking end until the man died. And people have asked me over the last few years, when he's been in this bad of like a dementia, and he only lived this long because they stuck a fucking pacemaker in his ass or in his head or his chest, whatever. So I'm back a lot, but yeah. And then when someone intentionally, unintentionally, tries to almost make you feel guilty for not feeling like any sort of sympathy, right? Like, I got a lot of sympathy. I'm emotionally. I always tell people they're not broken, right? Because you don't need to be fixed. but emotionally and type stuff like feelings, you know. So I don't understand a lot of how I should what emotions are weird to me, right? Feelings, right? Genuine feelings, friendships, love things are hard. It's literally a hard concept for me, and so with what I've been shown in my life and what was given to me and everything like that. And then the just the shitbag actions at the end, you know, I had nothing good to say. And I still don't, and I never will. Um, being raised in you know, a home where, beating your kids is like a thing to do, right? To get out your frustrations, or you didn't do your chore quite right. You didn't sweep the floor quite good enough so you get beat. That's good punishment. You would continuously get beat, right? Not in the face. You remember things like that through your life, especially when you realize that that person is unable to change his thinking ever, right? Um, and that's when you realize that, later in life, that this person is still the same shitbag that you know uh, you tend to like you lose so much you lose the ability to care that it's like past stage, who gives a fuck, you know and so anyway, he's my abuser, whatever the fuck, just trying to make somebody feel guilty or telling for something that they're not guilty of, or for not having a certain feeling. You don't feel the way that I would feel, so this must be wrong. Oh, everybody feels like this. No, not everybody feels like this. You know, um, it I mean, I've had a few people that have said, sorry for your loss, and they know basic history of, and stuff. And like my mother-in-law, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to say this, right? Sorry for your loss, right? And she goes, let's leave it at that. Yeah, I can teach anybody to drink. I've done that a few times, and it's come back to bite me too. But uh, it just it just amazed me, the audacity. I don't want to say audacity, audacity shit. Just the balls that people seem to have, right? When things aren't their business, and he's got to throw Jesus in there, right? And because he's going to go to heaven and shit, we still want to pray for him and stuff, and all that other magic hoo-ha bullshit. Anyway, uh, I'm pissed off. I'm angry. I'm not giving a fuck. Um, and that's okay, you know, uh, because the only people that need to be like memorialized or remembered fondly, or I don't know, people that deserve it, you know, and quite frankly, he did. Uh, anyway, I think I've rambled on enough. Um, I'd appreciate maybe a critique or comments in the comment section at the bottom of the video. Not like I said, I'm not looking for sympathy. It's seriously not that. It was just so much not even like something I was even really thinking about, right? I mean, until somebody made me, not, and I'm not talking about the fact that I found out about my father passing, because, I was going to find out, and, so, but it was the fact that somebody who had nothing to fucking do with it thought that I should feel a certain way, right? And was trying to defend somebody who, in my opinion, was indefensible on so many levels for numerous fucking reasons, you know. That's the part that pissed me off. I don't, like I said, I share more than a lot of people do on the fucking YouTube, especially in this fucking community. I mean, I start out with a bunch of, funny haha bullshit and everything, and, I mentioned Carl's back, and I found StreamYard with the dumbest looking fucking duck I've ever fucking seen. But anyway, we like a train wreck here, It's kind of like how we, it's how we roll. I mean, and who wouldn't like it like this? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we here at Lobster Studios and Hot Wiener Emporium and Male Reinforcement Department and stuff. I'd like to thank everybody for watching this. This has been, I wasn't really sure how this was going to turn out and stuff and everything. And I just felt a need to, couldn't get anybody on the phone to talk or something. So I figured, you know what? I like to run my mouth. So I'll just tell everybody what's on my fucking mind. Hopefully nobody would hang up on me. But anyway, everybody, thanks for watching. And remember, Lemmy's God, praise Lemmy.